Hi, welcome to another episode of In the Spotlight. I'm your host, Maxine Crowe, and today I'm really delighted to be joined by Stefan Husanu, CEO of Pith and STEM. Hi, Stefan. How are you this afternoon?
Hi, Maxine. I'm very good. Very good. Lovely to finally sit down with you.
Yes, it's been a while coming, but the time has flown by so quickly, and here we are. So, in the spotlight, we will ask you some questions, and just to get to know a bit about your business and what you're doing. But first of all, for the audience, would you like to introduce yourself and your venture?
Yes, thank you. My name is Stefan, and I'm the CEO of Pith and STEM, and we are the creators of the DropTop desk. The DropTop desk is a wall-mounted desk that was designed specifically for people that work from home, and it has everything that one needs to work from home efficiently, but with the superpower of being able to be shut away when work is done at the end of the day. We've started making and selling the DropTops a year on from when the UK went into lockdown. So we launched it on the day that, a year on from the day that Boris announced that the UK is in lockdown. And that was in March 21. I can't remember the date. 21st of March, I think.
So you'd actually think that a lockdown, it's actually the reverse. But what we have noticed is that a lot of businesses actually set up during the lockdown. People have pivoted. What did you do before, interestingly?
So I have a construction company, which I started at the age of 22, a few years after I arrived in the UK. That company is still going strong, and it's now got around 100 workers on various construction sites, and we make and install balustrades, balconies, structural steel, stuff like that, metalworks in construction.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. How did you come up with the idea for Pith and STEM?
Pith and STEM was meant to be recycled material furniture. So the idea was that we would take materials that would otherwise end up in landfills, and we turn them into beautiful pieces of furniture, unique pieces of furniture as well. But when the pandemic hit, I was trying to come up with different products for Pith and STEM, and there was this undercurrent everywhere. There was this underlying issue that everyone had with trying to work out how to work from home. So I remember a lot of my friends really struggled. I was okay because I was already running my first company, and I had like a garden house at the bottom of the garden, and that was my dedicated office. So I was okay. It didn't really make much difference to me. But I remember my friends really struggled. Now I remember particularly one couple that we've been friends with for many years, and they were on the brink of divorce, really, because it was really getting to them. They were like kids running up and down, and they were struggling to work from their dining table, and he would be on a Zoom meeting and she would be taking customer phone calls. The kids were running around. It was just impossible. And it really puzzled me because everyone kind of, and it was around the summer of 2020, and everyone kind of started hating working from home. And the same exact people, if you asked them a year before, they would give a leg to work from home. Like they would take a pay cut and change a job with no issues to just work from home. And now they were hating it. So it was really weird to me, because at the same time I was seeing the data on sustainability and how 2020 was like the cleanest year because everything stopped, like the economy stopped. And putting two and two together, I thought, if people are not traveling, of course, there was no traffic. The trains were far less busy. I mean, at that time, there were barely anyone was commuting. So I could see the upside of, if people could work from home, we'd have far less greenhouse gases from people commuting. When you go to work, you'd buy your sandwiches and lunches and all of that, and one person is not a big deal, but then times billions, then a big problem is created. So I could see the upside of that, and then I could see the downside. Of course, people can't work from home because they're not equipped to work from home. And where everyone was focusing on creating another piece of software to just complement and make working from home easier, no one was really looking at the physical aspect of it. People actually, where will actually people work when they're working from home? So it kind of just came about. Like I just thought, I'm looking for furniture to design. This is a solution that is so desperately needed by billions of people, really. I just took it from there. So I started looking at the problems, and I tried to reverse engineer the solution from the challenges that people were facing. And of course, one of the main challenges of working from home is space, because the home isn't built for work. Home is built for life, right? So space is very often limited. So the desk of the future couldn't be something that takes up a lot of space. The other challenge was people found somewhere to put their laptop on their dining table and work, but of course you now have all of these new pieces of software that you need to use when you're working from home, and you've got Zoom, and you've got Slack or Trello boards, Asana, whatever everyone used. But if you've only got one screen, how are you going to multitask? How are you going to be doing your work and drag things from one side to the other? And you've got to make your windows all so small that you squint and you still can't see anything. So of course you need more monitors, right? Because in the office, everyone has more monitors, and you take them for, it's a given. You've got more monitors and you can use them. But at home, where are you going to put the monitors? Where are you going to put a massive desk so that you can be efficient? So it was just kind of take it from there. This is a problem. Where do we fit it? We created the DropTop.
That's amazing. And when just thinking about, because I've worked from home for many, many years, and went from you're on the sofa with a cushion on your lap, or you're on the kitchen table, and your posture, and that's another thing as well. Your posture just suffers because you're not at a proper desk or a proper workstation. So having a product that you can save the space and correct your posture and work in the right ways is really key. There's no comparison. I mean, although it's fun in the beginning to be able to work from home and to be able to just lie on your sofa and do a bit of work, I mean, after about 2 hours, you just can't do it anymore, right? No. Everything starts hurting. This position isn't fun. That position, legs on the coffee table, that was, comfortable for 5 minutes. You need a proper desk. You need something that will help you be comfortable when working. So of course, that you can't have that at the dining table. You can't have that at the coffee table. You can't have that if you're working on the stairs, under the stairs, on the bed, under the bed, wherever you're working. So you need a desk. Now, I think most people can't have a traditional desk because the traditional desk doesn't fit in the modern home. Like, it's not made for the modern home. So when I was toying with the idea of creating a desk for the modern home, through my construction business, I had access to hundreds of architectural drawings. So the drawings of the buildings that we were working on, putting balconies on and whatnot. So I started looking at those, and it was the layout of the traditional apartment or house. And of course,
you have the kitchen, and it's usually a kitchen, dining, living area, kind of an all-in-one. And then you've got 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, but no home has got a study, right? So you would need to sacrifice a bedroom for a study. Now, most people wouldn't want to do that. So you've got the other option of putting a desk somewhere. And I was looking at this bird's eye view of the layout, the floor layout. And I was trying to think, okay, it'd be nice if you were near a window, so I'd probably put one here. But then when you're sitting on the sofa, your desk is here, you'd probably have cables all everywhere. You'd have your work stuff all left open. So that wouldn't be nice. And then you can probably fit one. But what if both people work from home? And I was thinking of my friends that were both working from home. So like, it's fine. Maybe the wife can work in the dining room, and then where does the husband go, or where do the kids study? So it was clearly a problem, and it still is. The modern home isn't built for work. So there's nowhere in the modern home that you can put a desk and it would look like that's it, that's his place. It fits there. Yeah. I mean, you would have to be very tidy, and I haven't been able to fit a normal desk somewhere, and it looked good. So yeah, that was why we a little bit later came up with the idea of putting a picture on it, because you want it to blend in, you want it to just be out of sight. So of course, a little bit later as well, when we started looking into it more of what the issues that people are facing are, and a big issue was burnout. And people were working from the time when they woke up to the time when they were sleeping, because and this is now called enmeshment. There's no boundaries between work and life. You know that the next day will be challenging, and if I just sort this one email, if I just do this one thing, tomorrow will be easier. But of course, tomorrow comes and something else comes in, and you just end up having this life where there's no boundaries. You're just waking up, you're doing a little bit of this, and then you're working, and everything's around work, and people are just burning out because there's no. It doesn't feel like we're living in that way, because everything you do is around work, but it's not satisfying. Like, you might be making progress for your employer or for your company, but on a personal level, you need a break. So, that's when we decided that it needs to be completely out of sight. It needs to give you the ability to put everything there when 5 o'clock comes, 6 o'clock, whatever time everyone works to, and you close that, then that's completely out of sight and out of mind. You don't want it to look at all like your workspace.
And hence having a nice picture of maybe your favorite artist that you can just gaze at instead of feeling stressed at looking at the papers hanging on your desk.
And also it's closed. It's closed, so it's just completely end of business day. It's like leaving work and going home. It's closed. That's it. I'm not going to open that until the next morning, unless it's really an emergency. But I think it's far easier to set that line in the sand than just be able to grab your bowl of pasta and just go and sit down and maybe put that on the side and just type that email quickly. And then before you know it, it's midnight and you're still working again.
Yeah, it's true.
So, but yeah, people have taken it to town. People have done, family portraits. They've done wedding corner where, for example, we've seen one that was really nice, and they had like the main picture from their wedding on the DropTop, and then they had all sorts of like different pictures from the wedding day with their like best man and throwing rice and all of that. That was really nice. We've had someone, we've seen that twice at least, where they bought a white canvas and then they hired someone to do a custom painting at home. Once we saw that someone sent us where they did like a family project with the kids where they painted themselves. Yeah, it can be much nicer for sure than seeing your work all day long.
Yeah, That's a great concept.
Yeah, so that's how it came about.
So let's just talk now a little bit about the journey and the challenges. So what were the initial challenges that you faced when starting your venture?
The S-curve. So I wasn't really aware, and in my mind it was this: the world really needs it. So when we launch, everyone's going to go bananas and they're just going to buy them. But of course, I came to realize later that that's not the case. The market needs to warm up to any new concept. So we had some early adopters, but definitely not the amount of orders that I was hoping for. So it took a long time until, or it felt like a long time. Looking back on it now, it wasn't that long, but every minute of every day, it just felt like hell in the beginning.
How long was it actually?
I think for the first 6 months, we didn't have that many orders every month. There wasn't any months we didn't have any orders. We had orders, but it would be like a few here and there through the month, and then that would be the month closing. And I was looking at the figures and I was expecting much bigger figures, and I had invested a lot of money into machinery and stock so that we are able to make them and make them fast when we launch. And that wasn't coming, and I had hired loads of carpenters and office staff, and it was just not moving fast, and money was running out fast, and I needed runway, and it was just not happening, like not fast enough. The sales were increasing, but very slowly. Like we needed something like a 500% increase, and we were getting 25% increase. Like it wasn't happening. The 25% isn't bad, but when you're starting that low, then it's not there. We need it to be there, and then 25% increase every month would be lovely, of course. But yeah, it took a good 6 months to get a reasonable amount of sales, and then I'd say it took a good year until it started materializing, and then profitability. I'd say it took a couple of years until we've actually started filling. That the numbers grew, but more money in, more money out. So that wasn't easy, and it still isn't. We're moving to a much bigger factory now, because we've maxed out every single corner of this workshop. There is no space. But luckily, we were able to organize that, and we're moving into a bigger factory. It's still not as big as we need it to be, but you've got to walk before you run.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. I can't wait for that. That's going to give us a lot of flexibility. We should, although the workshop is twice as big as this, we should be able to 5x the outputs, just because of the new machinery that we're getting, which we are unable to use here because the machines are actually bigger than the factory.
Oh wow.
So with the new machines, we should be able to improve by a factor of 5 on both our lead times and the amount of units that we are making every day.
That's amazing.
Yeah, really looking forward to that. And we're going to be launching new DropTops.
So that just brings us on to the part around growth and scaling, actually. So you just talked about expansion, moving into a new space. What strategies have you employed to actually grow and scale the business? Yeah,
so it's all relatively new to me. It's only stuff that in the B2B world of construction, it wasn't a big thing, but in the direct-to-consumer market that DropTop is, we worked on the top funnel a lot. So it's a very visual product. So we need, and we're still far away from where I definitely want us to be, but we need to show potential customers exactly what it is and what it does and how it does it. And we're working on that, and we've still got a few improvements to make, but there's so much around marketing that someone needs to understand to be able to understand how to market a product like that, because it's a new concept. It's not this is a mobile phone and this is a mobile phone. It's completely different. So you've got to see things from the customer's perspective of what they might think, and they might think, oh yeah, that's nice, but it will never fit on my plasterboard wall. I tried to put a picture, a watch, a clock, and it fell off, right? But it does. We've designed it for plasterboard walls, right? Otherwise, why would you design something in the 21st century for a brick wall? No one uses brick walls anymore. That was one of the first things that we had to overcome, right? Or they might think, oh yeah, but the moment I touch that, it would break. Right? Of course not, right? That's, again, one of the first things that we had to overcome. We've created these patented hinges that I often climb on those when we do exhibitions, and I walk on them. They're really, really strong, right? Again, we're making something, we're making it in the UK. It's not a gimmicky product. We're not just trying to sell 100 units and then move on to the next project. We are taking everything really seriously. So, you've got to work that way around and just see what people are thinking, or try to see what people are thinking, and often speak to customers. And we speak to our customers a lot, and just get their point of view and see what would stop them from buying, or is there anything else that we need to change to help our customers more. So a lot of that. So work from the perspective of the customer, and then just try to show that on the website without making it cluttered, and because there's so much information that you need, that the biggest risk is to put it all there, and then people just can't filter through it. They can't find what they need quick enough, so then they bounce. There's a thing called bounce rate that we came to realize and work on. And we monitored that, and we brought that down. We halved it and then halved it again. There is a lot. Lot. And I'm still learning. I'm still learning every day.
I think as an entrepreneur, you never stop.
You never stop learning.
And what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs who are looking to expand their businesses? On
the direct-to-consumer market, I would definitely say advertising, creating content, and just showing what your product or business does a lot, and trying to see what your customer wants and what your niche wants from you, and just focus on that. My biggest advice would be the things that you do and the things that you don't do are equally important. So with small businesses, often the biggest problem is the resources that you have. So for example, with us, we want to do everything. There's so many things that we want to do, and there's so many improvements that we know that we've got to do. The problem is, which one do you make first? And you've got to understand the capacity that you have as a team, and just focus on that. So there will be big things that people might say, oh, you should do this and you should do that, or that you should do this and you should do that. But you've got to focus on the things that you can do, and just prioritize, and just to do them one by one, the most important first. But definitely don't get sidetracked. Don't drop the pie reaching for the apple. Is something I've definitely learned.
That's some really good advice from you there. So, Stefan, what is in store for the next 5 years? What's your vision?
The next 5 years. So the business is growing really, really well. We found some difficulty trying to show what the product is to people, and then from the reviews and from the customers that we're speaking to, they're a little bit skeptical, because there's so much stuff on the internet nowadays, and you see things and they look okay online, but then you get them and you wish you never got them. But what happens with us is, once they get it, everyone that we speak to says, I don't know how I lived without this. Like, I would never go back to working from my dining table, or the little cramped desk that I had. I threw that away. I'm so happy. So this creates the viral effect. For example, Christmas is coming, and people are going to have friends and family around. So what happens is, our customers are so excited with their DropTops that they will be showing it to their cousins, their friends, their uncles, their aunties, everyone that visits. So right after Christmas, we will have a lot more sales ad-free, like without us having to pay any money for those sales, as in to put those adverts in front of people. So the business is growing really well. I think I can't see why within the next 5 years we are unable to put a DropTop in every home or more DropTops in every home. If the kids need one, the kids can have one. If both parents are working from home, then both parents can have one each. You can put them in the bedroom, you can put them in the living room, and everyone can work and be efficient and be productive. They don't need to give up space, and also when they're done, they can just fold it up and then enjoy the work-life balance. So yeah, in the next 5 years, I would like to see one in every home.
That's amazing. Well, people have more TVs in more than one TV in the home now.
Yeah.
So why couldn't the DropTop replace a TV that's in a kitchen area? Or, that'd be really great.
It would definitely be. It would definitely be better for people that work from home and for kids that study from home, because if you think of it, we don't focus on the kids so much on where they study. They just study, and they probably have maybe a little desk in their room. Although I have seen a lot of homes that the kids don't have a desk and they're just doing it on the coffee table and doing their homework there and wherever they can. But the technological advancements that we had since November last year, especially since November last year when ChatGPT came out, in my opinion, mean they highlight a big need for the next generation to be able to really master their digital skills, because so many jobs are becoming obsolete. So many jobs are not gonna be here in 10 years time. We don't know if we're gonna have doctors in 10 years time. We don't know if we're gonna have lawyers in 10 years time, because clearly AI does it so much better. Even the early versions are so promising that it's almost certain that a doctor, so a surgery carried out by a fully precise machine or robot, if you like, will be a lot better than a surgery carried out by a doctor that may have not woken up well that morning, maybe had a party the previous night, maybe so many things, right? It's the same for so many professions. So in a world where we don't know what the jobs of the future will look like, the one thing that's for sure is that kids need to master their digital skills nowadays. So they can't really do that if they don't even have access to a laptop, or if all they have access to is a laptop. If they can learn from a young age to multitask and to use multiple tabs and windows and just use computers and technology.
We've talked about your journey, challenges. How do you maintain work-life balance, especially with the demands of running a business? Well, actually, two businesses.
Yeah. So it has been challenging, especially at the beginning when I didn't know how to do it, but I definitely went through periods of feeling burnout. What I did is I did a lot of research into work-life balance and how to navigate it. And I think ultimately there's loads of tools and there's loads of ways. You just need to find what works for you. And what worked for me was non-negotiables. So there's nothing that I can do for work not to intrude in my life in like certain areas of my life. But what I did is, so I'll rarely work in the evening. I'll try when I leave the office, or if I'm working from home, when I close my desk, like that's it. I'm finished for the day. Definitely resisting the urge of, I've got this thing that's nagging me. If I remember something, I'll note it down. I'll note it on my phone. And then I might set a reminder, and that's it. I won't open. So we use Asana and Trello boards. I'll resist the urge of going on Asana, for example, or I'll just quickly go and quickly note that down, because what that did with me is you see something else that you forgot about, and then one thing leads to the other, and then you end up just going down the spiral of just ending up being back into working mode. So if something's bugging me, I'll note it down, I'll note it on my phone, and then I'll pick up the next morning. So yeah, I rarely do anything in the evening unless a phone call comes in and it's urgent. And people really generally know, and they won't call me for work related things after 5. It was just a conversation of, I'm trying to have a life, so it's fine, no problem. Let's catch up tomorrow. And then I had to do that a few times, and then everyone kind of knows now. Because when I'm at work, I tend to be with someone working and doing something. I don't really have the time to do like my workload so much during work hours. So what I did is I started waking up at 4:30 in the morning, and I do that. I used to do that every day, Monday to Friday. I do that now 2 or 3 times a week, so just so I can catch up on my work. So I catch up on my work in the morning, and then the other non-negotiable that I have is I walk the dog in the morning with my partner in the park. So we at around 6:45, we'll go to the park and we'll walk for about half an hour, 40 minutes. That's really good because you get the sunlight, you're out in nature, there's trees, there's a lake, so it's really nice. So you start your day really well. We do about 2.5K, so there's a bit of a walk as well, and it's a little bit up and down, so you get some mild exercise in, and being out in nature, and that really helps kickstart the day. That coupled with the couple of hours that I've got in the morning before that really helps me have a successful day. I grab a coffee on the way in, and then when I come into the office, I'm ready. So that's my work day, and then the weekend is mine. So generally I won't do anything. If I do something that's work related, it will be research. It will be, I might write something, but these things don't really feel like work because it's learning, right? So you'll be learning about something. You might as well be learning about something that interests you, right? And all these things really interest me, because I'm studying work-life balance essentially, right? So of course, the more balanced a life is, the better you feel, right? Because you can have mojitos on the beach all day long. That's not going to be a happy life. A happy life has a bit of challenge, has a bit of, you need to feel like you're growing, you're not stuck, you're heading towards something. So to me, that really works. But yeah, the non-negotiables were what moved the needle for me. So saying, whatever happens between these hours, I can't really control because there's emergencies, there's things that are changing, there's markets that are changing, but I can influence when I start work, and I can influence when I finish work. And unless it's a really big emergency, then I won't go through that. Yeah. And the walk in the morning is a non-negotiable.
That's amazing. And people and the audience can learn from that as well. And also the knock-on effect is that you become a better leader. The business doesn't suffer because you're highly strong, then that impacts on your workers as well. So it has a knock-on effect, not just for your own life, but others.
What I did find is that I am more productive that way, because although you might be staying up until midnight working, you're not actually thinking clearly, because you're tired. So often you'll find that the work that you did in the evening, you've got to redo in the morning anyway, because you may have written some emails that, you didn't necessarily want to go down that route, or you didn't really mean it in a way that it was perceived, or whatever it may have been. You were tired. So you often have to go back on your work and that's not productive. But also the next day, I remember it used to maybe even take me until midday of just being unable to focus properly and to just carry out like anything that wasn't basic tasks that required a bit of mental capacity. I just couldn't concentrate. So now I try not to be in front of a screen for at least a couple of hours before I go to sleep. But 1 hour again is a non-negotiable. So phones go down about an hour before sleep. TV off. I don't really watch much TV anyway. YouTube, all of that. Any learning past 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock is my bedtime. So any learning or anything I do past 9 o'clock, it just tends to be a normal book or just enjoy a tea, dim the lights down a bit and just prepare for the next day. Yeah. So it's a continuous cycle, I would say. Anything you do in the evening will impact the morning. Anything you do in the morning will impact the day. And then, it just rolls on.
That's some really great advice. So before we wrap up, do you have a favorite book or podcast or resource that you can share that's influenced you?
Carl Newport, his podcast is absolutely amazing. Huberman Lab, his podcast is absolutely amazing. There's so much great advice on both how to live your life, what things to do, how to work effectively, how to work less hours and get more out of those hours. So it's not about working more hours. It's not about the input. It's about the output. That's what people need to understand. That's what managers need to understand, especially managers that manage remote teams. You can't manage things anymore trying to see how much input they put, like how long are they in front of their computer for. You've got to manage outputs, and that essentially is what everyone should be looking at, right? Because it doesn't matter if task A took 20 hours to complete or task A took 12 hours to complete and is better, then does it matter that it only took 12 hours or 20 hours, right? It's the output. So Carl Newport especially is a really great resource. His books are brilliant. His podcast is brilliant. So anything like that, anyone that wants advice for how to maximize every minute that you're sat at your desk working so that you can then log off and enjoy your life, then I would say definitely these are great resources.
Thank you. And finally, Stefan, how can the audience get hold of you and contact you and learn
easy.
More about your product?
That's easy. If you Google pithandstem.com or wall-mounteddesk.com, then our adverts will haunt you forever and ever.
It's been an absolutely amazing spotlight with you and learning all about you and your business and your venture, and just feel absolutely honoured to be able to share some time with you. So thank you. Until next time.
Maxine, thank you so much. This has been so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you.